What's up, Dice Crew? Now we got Taxstone speaking on the whole night where, we had the loss of Banga. Shout out to him and those that care about him. And Troy Ave getting arrested. Just, that whole situation that night at the club. So I'm sure by now everybody familiar with it to some level of degree. Now we had spoke on this Troy Ave situation a few different times, but we never really reacted to anything that Taxstone ever had to say about it. So let's tune in and see what Taxstone got to say about it. I'm gonna keep it a Benji for y'all doing a reaction. Y'all keep it a Benji for me in the comments. Let's rock.
Had an opportunity to reverse the roles and put Troy Ave's shoes on that night. What would you have done during that incident, and how would you have handled things after?
Well, they did anything. I've seen him several times before that, and it's always been, yo, we need to not be beefing. There was never no beef. So I would usually dab him, and it'd be over. What happened was that, every time this happened, he would renege on his side of the deal. So the thing was that I felt like I went about it wrong because instead of me exploiting the things he was doing, I would just joke on it, and on the internet. So it'd just make it look like I just woke up joking on it. But meanwhile, I just started joking on him because I just came from my barbershop and the barber tells me that I can't come in there and get a haircut no more because niggas came and said they got money on me. You know what I mean? And I never said that shit on Twitter, but I get on Twitter and just be like, yo, this whack ass music ass nigga. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
now, I could be gathering that kind of wrong, but it seems like to me that Taxstone pretty much said that he wish he would have been highlighting and spotlighting situations that was taking place. Like he said, it sounded like to me that he said he went to a barbershop and a person told him he can't come in there because somebody got money on him. And he said he kind of wish he was, shedding light on these type of things instead of just people seeing him act out and do certain things or say certain things on Twitter. Now, to me, that kind of seems like it might be a flag on the play. Because I feel like there's no reason for you to, shed light about what's going on in the streets on the internet. I don't think you want to be shedding light about people got money on you. I don't think that's something a person that's calling themselves street should be doing, And I feel like what Taxstone should be correcting is just, if he had a chance, it should have been not even speaking on none of those things on the internet. Don't be speaking on Troy Ave, don't be going off, whatever the case may be, if you just, wanted to take something back from it. I mean, that's how I kind of look at it. But I don't think it would be cool to, get on the internet and shed light on that. Now, I could be kind of wrong, but I think that's what Taxstone was just saying right now. Let's run it back and see what he had to say.
So, I went about it wrong because instead of me exploiting the things he was doing, I would just joke on it, and on the internet. So it'd just make it look like I just woke up joking on it. But meanwhile, I just started joking on him because I just came from my barbershop and the barber tells me that I can't come in there and get a haircut no more because niggas came and said they got money on me. You know what I mean? And I never said that shit on Twitter, but I get on Twitter and just be like, yo, this whack ass music ass nigga. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was my way of dealing with it. So in the outside looking in, it's like, oh, he just always this is music. But even if I was, nigga, so what? So what? You know what I mean? And just like I said, I've seen him several times, and it was a gap, and that was it. But when he got in a position to feel like he could get me, or he could get the best of me, he took advantage of it. You know what I mean? That's all it was. I've seen this dude several times for that, and it was never nothing. So, you know what I mean?
You think it was an instance of him having people around that hyped him up?
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean? That's all it was. I've seen this dude several times for that, and it was never nothing. So, you know what I mean?
You think it was an instance of him having people around that hyped him up?
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to say this. Obviously, I'm not directly involved with that situation, and I'm not there when Taxstone did run into Troy Ave or didn't, whatever. But I feel like if that's what Troy Ave was doing, then he definitely got to start taking a lot more accountability for the bad that took place from that whole situation. Banger passing, other people getting hurt, people got to be in jail. Like, you got to take a lot of accountability for that and responsibility on that, because it's possibly that if this is the case and it's true, then you could have handled these type of situations in the streets. You could have did these situations when it might have been less people around to have more casualties. So if this true, then Troy Ave got to be more, take more accountability about this. And if Taxstone is just putting it out there, then and making up stuff, then hey, that's just him trolling, I guess. But let's continue.
Well, he knew I was dead, and that was one of the things. Like, someone called him and told him I was dead. Like, I didn't realize it until like that night. Like, because when they came in, like, I guess they seen me already because they was looking for me, and he's like, so he screamed out like it was popping. And then I looked back, and I'm like, oh shit, and I said, what's popping back? And as soon as I said what's popping, they rushed me. I got hit with a gun. I seen it coming down, and I'm like, oh shit. It was like too late, so I got hit like right in the middle of my forehead with the gun. And then as soon as I got hit with the gun, somebody feed me from behind. And this is when I realized that he had somebody else in the lead. Because I'm like, who the hell was behind me that would have feed me? You know what I mean? Yeah. Because they came from the front. So who the fuck was behind me? You know what I mean? So after I spoke to one of the dudes that was in this group, that's when he told me, like, nah, a lot niggas that called and said you was dead. And he already wasn't going because we was having our own little event. He wasn't going to go because we were supposed to link up with T.I. the next day in the studio. And then once niggas said you was dead, he knew he said something about it. Then niggas hesitated on going, and then he was like, yo, fuck that, we going. And then they ended up going. And it was like waiting for other people to like come to the city to go with them or whatever. And then they went, So he went for the problem. It wasn't me. He came in with P&B Rock. P&B Rock was on the bill. He wasn't on the bill. If I seen him on the bill, I wouldn't have went. You know what I'm saying? I would avoid him. I always avoided him. Like, I wasn't actually looking for the issue. I know how to look for an issue, but I wasn't looking for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he just flipped the whole shit around and just made it seem like I came looking for him. Like, anybody from New York is going to say, why would a Brooklyn rapper go looking for a nigga on 14th Street? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, you do shows in Flakko and Utica. Like, I would go look for you over there if I was looking for you. You know what I mean? But this dude, the thing is that when you cooperate with the government, they don't give a fuck which way it go. They just want a conviction. So that's what happened. That was it. They just needed a conviction. We closed the case. They've been lingering too long. All right, we had nothing. You gotta remember, I was on the street a year after this shit happened. You know what I mean? They had no evidence. So the only thing that got me arrested was his mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like, when people say, oh, they had this on you, they had that. It's like, what the fuck?
Now, y'all got to let me know in the comments the truth, because I'm not sure. But I thought that they found Taxstone's fingerprints all over the gun or all over the magazine or certain parts of the gun. Y'all let me know if that was true or not.
Bro, they had him. That's it. This dude didn't want to go to jail for shooting. He didn't want to go to jail for the 3 guns he bought. So he cooperated against me. That's it. He never was charged with shooting his friend. Like, he made all of this shit up for the sake of, a theatrical story. And all this shit could have been looked up. Instead of niggas just looking up in the computer what he's arrested for, they like, yo, imagine they charged you with killing your best friend. He never was charged with that. But that was the narrative he put out. So people could believe in his feds, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So the story is that you murdered his best friend.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying that, because from what I know, that's how everything went down. That's the whole story. And obviously I'm learning through you right now. Again, I kind of like,
well,
as fucked up as it sounds, look, I'm as fucked up as it sounds, I'm somebody that's historically known as a side picker, right? Like, if I fuck with somebody, I listen to their story, and it's my people, I'm gonna go with that. If I'm talking to somebody, and again, I don't know you from a can of paint. I'm just listening to your
But
story.
just
I
like
can
I
tell
said,
you're
right?
authentic. Go ahead.
Put yourself in his shoes, right? I want you to live his story. Whatever his story is that he said, right? And then tell me that all your friends that you with stop dealing with you the very next day. Why would your friends stop fucking with you? Y'all just went through some traumatic shit together. Your friend just died. You just got shot. It was a crazy night.
Word. That shit makes everything look different.
Why? Do you think all your friends will leave you? Or would y'all be close to them?
So some shit.
Now, you know, I could have the timelines mixed up or whatever, but Troy Ave's story is that I think that night they got pulled over with guns and nobody else wanted to claim any guns. And he said he pretty much looked at himself as like, you know, the leader or the captain of the ship. So he felt like, you know, people wasn't being stand-up individuals or whatever. So that's kind of why they kind of departed. I'm not saying what's true or what's false, but I'm just saying I think that's what Troy Ave's story is about why him and some of his friends ain't cool no more since that night.
Obviously, some shit went down that, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, so this is what I'm trying to tell you. Like, it's something that is not being said. You know what I mean? And he lives off that. If you really look at articles of his family talking, you'll understand it. They'll tell you Banger did not fuck with that dude. Like, he left him in jail. That dude was in jail from Thanksgiving to April, $7,000 bail. And when he heard that me and Mano was going to bail him out of jail, he ran to go do it because we was just bailing him out as a joke on him.
wow. What happens if you had the opportunity to run into Troy Ave today? Because I did tell you about the story of how these two ran into one another, and it was just a simple exchange. Like, you know what the fuck it is. You know what I mean? What do you feel like would happen if you had the opportunity to run into Troy Ave today?
If I had the opportunity to run into Troy Ave, I would call the cops on that nigga. Don't get that nigga arrested. That's what I would do. I would do everything that he accused me of doing. Troy Ave, I would call the cops on that nigga. Don't get that nigga arrested. That's what I would do. I would do everything that he accused me of doing.
Now that was crazy. But I mean, honesty is honesty. So if Taxstone is saying that if he ran into Troy Ave today, he would call the cops on him and get him arrested, then I mean, hey, you know, we gotta just be, you know, thankful and accept his honesty. But hey, you know, that's some crazy things to say.
That's what I would do then.
I definitely didn't expect that answer. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, of course he did. These are my true feelings. How I feel about people like that. See, the thing is this, you know, it's like, you know, you got civilians on your block. You got old ladies, old men, you know what I mean? They're not into the street. So, you know, you be respectful to the people. You let them know that they comfortable where they live at. The moment you feel you make these people feel uncomfortable, they have a revenge factor. Now, their revenge factor might not be street justice. So, you know, they call the cops or, you know, they call the landlord on you, whatever the fuck it might be, right? But in this case, you have a dude that's outside shooting people, outside paying people to get shot, and then he calls the cops. The only way to win with a dude like that is by calling the cops on him.
Now, I don't know if this is what Taxstone is applying that Troy Ave is doing, but you know, at so many ways, you know, that's definitely like snitching. You know what I mean? Like for Taxstone to get on here and to be saying that these crimes is what Troy Ave has done or participating in, that's telling. Now, I'm not saying, I don't know, you know, if that's what he's saying or, you know, it's just the delivery is different. But if he's on here saying that that's what Troy Ave is saying, then, you know, that's telling. And I mean, you know, if that's how Taxstone feel like that's how he could win that beef or battle or war or whatever we gonna call it between him and Troy Ave, then I mean, you know, that's their business at the end of the day. That's his, you know, that's his way. But I mean, again, you know, all we can do is just appreciate the honesty on this.
Making sure that you get your complaint in first. He calls the cops. The only way to win with a dude like that is by calling the cops on him and making sure that you get your complaint in first. You understand? Because he's gonna do whatever he wants to do with you on both spectrums. He's one of the most dangerous men alive. Like, those are the most dangerous creatures. Those are the creatures that's gonna tell you that we playing by these rules, but they cheating the whole time. You know what I mean? I'm literally the victim of a situation where nigga reversed the whole situation around on me. That's what I'm a victim of. You know what I mean? I'm a victim of a nigga perpetuating a personality, wearing a mask, and then conveniently taking it off when he feels like it. You know what I mean? And then trying to stand on it and make it seem like it's some real shit going on. You know what I mean? Trying to make it seem like it's some genuine shit going on. That's why I said it's up to y'all to go read the article that his sister is talking to the media and they talking about everything. And she's like, my mom didn't even want to be with him that night. You know what I mean? It's like you gotta, so, you know, just like I said, we tell the story of times it starts to become the truth in many people's minds. So this is why you got people like Flakko who talk out of his mouth. But see, what I was trying to explain to Flakko was this. I said, Flakko, you're very opinionated. Somebody else that you're talking about is very opinionated. Me. Now, see, the thing is that you might have not had the chance to run into some of these people that you've had opinions about. And in our culture, just like I told you, people don't like to debate, and people don't know how to debate. And when they don't know how to get their point across verbally, they want to get their point across physically. So when you see these people and they decide to get their point across physically to you, because they didn't like that you had too many words about them. Now we got to see who Flakko is. Now it's, does Flakko take the punishment? Does he get beat up? Or does he get shot and killed and die? Or does he get stabbed? But the point is that you're going to get put in a position where you're going to have to protect yourself because of your mouth. So before you judge me, make sure that you're not me. So what I explained to this fat dude was, I was like, you're me and you don't realize it. You should never be siding with the rappers. You shouldn't side with them. You me. You got a platform. You talking about dudes' music. You talking about the shit they did.
Now, I will say this. Taxstone is definitely giving some good points out right there. Like, it's a lot of people that's like, if they can't really express themselves or articulate themselves verbally, they will be quick to try to have a physical altercation. And also, the advice that he's giving to Flakko, which can be, you know, given as advice for a lot of individuals that get on these cameras, podcasts, or whatever, YouTubes, and we opinionate, that's some good advice. You should consider the fact of what Taxstone said. Like, any day, it could be a possibility that you have to answer for something you said, especially when you're very opinionated and you're very disrespectful or very distasteful or whatever the case may be. Some people don't want you speaking on them in general, and you might have to see what you about once these situations present themselves. So I feel like that was some real good advice for what Taxstone gave out right there.
The good shit they did, and you don't realize it. You should never be siding with the rappers. You shouldn't side with them. You me. You got a platform. You talking about dudes' music. You talking about the shit they did, good shit they did. And guess what? Somebody's not going to like when you said they did something stupid. Somebody's not going to like when you said that their music was corny. And they might want to fight you, or they might want to pistol with you, or get a moment off you on the internet, go viral, or they might want to shoot you. And now we got to see who you are. But before you say I'm done, I want to see you get into my position first. So,
and that's also a good point too. Like, we can't be so quick to try to judge people, and we never been in a position before, or we never been in a situation that they have been in before. You know, we got to be mindful about that. Because people will opinionate, judge, say anything about something that they possibly have never been a part of.
How that goes for every man who has an opinion, a strong opinion about everyone.
Word, that's real.
You are.
That's real.